The plant pathogenic fungi that I would like to introduce you to today causes a disease known as butternut canker. The host of this pathogen is the butternut tree, not the squash. The butternut tree is also known as white walnut, and it's closely related to black walnut. It's possible that you've never heard of this tree before. Butternut trees were already uncommon in their range before the introduction of the pathogen, but it's since been severely devastated by the disease. Butternut's native range is throughout most of the Midwest and northeastern parts of the U.S., as well as some southeastern parts of Canada. The pathogen has spread throughout that entire range. Loss of butternut population has been reported in some areas to be between 75 to over 90%. The decline of butternut began as early as the 1960s, as the pathogen was first reported in 1967 in Wisconsin. Prior to the devastation caused by the disease, this tree has been an important species to humans and animals alike. The tree produces a nut that is nutrient-dense and in large mass is a valuable food source for wildlife. Many different groups of indigenous people, as recorded by Daniel Moorman's book Native American Ethnobotany, would use many parts of the tree for a range of purposes, from medicine and hygiene to food. In a moment, we'll hear from the folks of these West Virginia mountains in Raleigh County discuss the changes in butternut populations in the 1990s, as they recount how important the collection of tree nuts were to their culture as a food source and as a way to earn money.
Do you remember when you were a girl, Mary, were there a lot of butternut walnuts, white walnuts around here?
Yes, and there's a big mulberry over here.
Yeah. Aren't many left, though, are there?
No.
White walnut, that's just about a thing of the past anymore. And I don't know, really, I don't know where you would find one at.
What other kinds of things do you gather in the woods?
We used to gather walnuts and hull them and dry them.
Black walnuts?
Black walnuts, and of course the butternut, they're just not things of the past. Practically most of them are died.
Butternut, the white walnut, the black walnut, Mary, is circular, you know. The butternut is sort of oblong and a thin shell on it. And it has a different taste.
Too?
Yeah. I think Ben will agree with me. I can't stress to you of how much those nuts were used. I mean, people did not go to Rick's grocery store and buy them a can of black walnuts or something. They had them. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ben, but this was part of our culture.
I remember it was.
Butternut canker is caused by a fungus that, as forestpathology.org says regarding its scientific name, sadistic mycologists gave it a tortured name that no one can pronounce. That name, which to the best of my ability may be pronounced Ophionomonia clavigignenti-juglandacearum, is more simply known as OCJ. OCJ is an ascomycete in the subphylum Pazizomycotina in the order of Diaporthales. It has only been observed to reproduce asexually. It is believed to have been introduced to the U.S., but it's unknown from where. This figure shows the phylogeny of a section of Diaporthales, which shows that 3 species of Chrysoporthe, responsible for the eucalyptus canker, and Cryphonectria parasitica, responsible for the chestnut blight, are the closest related species. This figure is from the same paper as the previous slide, and something I found interesting about OCJ is that compared to the other genomes of the Diaporthales sequenced in this study, it had the highest number of genes. OCJ creates black hyphal pegs and pycnidia under the bark of the tree, which cause the bark to erupt and then release the spores, similar to what you see in the photo on the left. The spores are then dispersed by wind, rain, and insects, where they are then thought to enter the new plant through wounds. In the photo on the right, this shows the conidiophores in figure 1, figures 2 and 3 show the conidia, and 4 shows the hyphal peg lifting up the outermost bark in a cross-section, and figure 5 shows spores being released through an ostiole.